Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my dear beautiful girls? Inshallah, today I'm going to complete explaining the lesson about social changes and how the Industrial Revolution affected the style of life in the Middle East. How did this happen? Why? The reasons, and how we are going to discuss it together now. Let us start. In the on the previous lesson, I told you how the Industrial Revolution changed life in Europe faster than it did for the Middle East. Why and how it started to affect life in the Middle East? This is our lesson today. We said that the Industrial Revolution created a huge demand for oil. Why? Because when I say the Industrial Revolution, I mean machines that need power to work in factories. How can machines work? Of course, they need energy to work. The machines get energy at first from coal, but later, when oil was discovered and they discovered it and they found it a better fuel than coal, so the Industrial Revolution created a huge demand for oil. The machines in the factories all over the world needed oil as a kind of fuel to power the machines and make them work. Also, in the 1930s, oil was discovered in the Middle East. This discovery changed life in the Middle East. So when I ask you what changed life in the Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia, the discovery for oil, and what made oil important? The Industrial Revolution. Because the Industrial Revolution, when the machines that worked in factories needed oil in order to get energy and make them work. So how did oil change life in the Middle East? Look at the first picture. Many construction companies arrived to develop the oil industry here in the Middle East, especially in the Gulf states and in Saudi Arabia. Modern buildings techniques allowed us to put up new modern buildings. So the people here in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states and the Middle East, where oil was found greatly, they started to have modern buildings. Also, the oil industry required thousands of different forms of transport, so the government had to build highways, roads, and railroads. Also, with cheap fuel and new roads, Saudi families started using cars of their own, so they started to have private cars or private transportation because they become able to own cars because the fuel was cheap. There were available highways and roads and so on. Also, many jobs became available in the oil industry. This brought wealth and skills to Saudi Arabia, and that's why the demand for specialized skills attracted many people from other countries to come to work in the Middle East. So this is how the Middle East, or life in the Middle East, was changed. Was changed because of Industrial Revolution and because of the discovery of oil. Now we are going to study the different ways for finding and using water from past till our present time in the Middle East. But you should know, or all of us know, that water is very scarce and precious in the Middle East. As the Middle East, most of it is hot and dry. There are aren't a lot of rivers in the Middle East. Only the Fertile Crescent has rivers, but the rest of the parts of the Middle East has no rivers. In order to live and work in the Middle East, people have to overcome the challenges of our very hot, dry climate. The Muslim world has developed some ingenious tools and technologies to lift water from rivers and other sources. And when I say other sources, we mean springs of water, wells. Look at this. This is the ancient or the most ancient tool used to lift water from wells or rivers. It's called the shadoof. The shadoof consists of three parts. The first part is the pool. On one end there is a weight, and the other end there is a rope tied to a bucket. To use a shadoof, you pull down the long end of the rope, lowering the bucket into the source. The counterweight pulls the full bucket up. So the people used it this way for so many years. And if you look carefully at the picture, you can see a man that looks to be from ancient Egypt. Okay, next one. It is called an Archimedes screw. The Archimedes screw is named after the ancient Greek mathematician who designed it. He was called Archimedes. A wooden screw gets mounted inside a cylinder placed at an angle. As the screw turns, the spiral thread pulls water up into the sluice. This is if someone sits here and then started to turn this handle around, the water will start to come up here in this side, this is loose, and then pour the sink up. That one is called the Nuria. The Nuria started and was invented in Iran, and Iran is one of the most important countries of the Middle East. Nuria water wheels come from Iran, where they were used to lift water from the Ahwaz River around 1000 AD. So it was used to lift the water from Ahwaz River in Iran about 1020 years ago. So this is the Shadoof. Later, the Archimedes screw was invented, and later the Nuria. What else? Here we have the Qanat. A Qanat is a simple underground canal. The oldest Qanats have been found in Iran, where thousands are still in use today. So these Qanats, can you see they are like underground water, like underground water. The Sakya. The Sakya is used greatly in the Middle East. The Sakya is an animal-powered machine with two circular gears that mesh at right angles. The vertical cogwheel is mounted over the source of the water and drives another wheel carrying a chain of earthen pots secured by a rope. A donkey or a mule or a camel is harnessed to the horizontal wheel as it walks in the circular path. The vertical wheel of the pots turns. The pots dip into the water, raise it to the surface, and tip the water into a tank. So when this animal is tied to the first wheel, when this first wheel starts to move around, it will make another one go around. This one will make the pots that are tied with pots dip into the water and carry water. When they go up again, they will pour the water in this tank, and as the camel or the mule continue walking in a circle, this wheel will continue to dip the pots into the water and then pour the water, and so on and so on. Once the camel or the mule stops, these circles or these wheels will stop working, and the water will stop to be poured here. This is the Sakya. So the Sakya is an animal-powered machine. The Sakya is an animal-powered machine. It does not need any fuel, just an animal to be tied to it. This is the most modern way to control water. Modern technology allows us to build enormous dams. This is a dam. And Bisha Dam, this picture is for Bisha Dam, is the largest dam in Saudi Arabia, or in our kingdom. So these are like technologies, all from the past time till the modern age, that help it to change our environment and helped us to change the way to take water, keep water, or find water. So we have the Shadoof, the Qanat, and the dam. All these are technologies, either old or modern, that used to change our environment or change the way to control and find water in our environments. And all these techniques have effects on our environments and affected the social change that happened in the environments of the Middle East. Thanks for listening, and goodbye till we meet again.